Hello, dear friends. 3 weeks to 6 months, or even before the midterm elections on 8th November, are the most common answers to the difficult question of when, but in reality, we know nothing for sure, although it may be sooner rather than later, according to the science and rumors. Opinion piece. 5 dimensions. Ascension of the planet to 5D. The transition is taking place now. The involutionary process came to a halt in 2014. The great transformation is not simple or easy. The spirit of Gaia is already in 5th dimension, but the physical part of the planet is still missing. We don't know who rules in fact and in right. There is wealth for everyone to be a millionaire. China and Russia prepare a gold-backed currency. International discord undermines global growth. Earth is one of the most abundant planets in the universe. Russia suspends grain exports from Ukrainian ports. Germany grows unexpectedly, while France and Spain slow down. Let's start. If the question is, what is happening on the planet Earth? The answer is that everything is happening, from food, agriculture, language, education, health, technology, science, sport, money, business, and much more, says Peter B. Mayer in his latest wake-up call. We seem to live in a world controlled by demons. According to Tolkien, the chief characteristic of modern governments is that we do not know who rules de facto or de jure. We see the politician and not his patron, still less the patron of the patron, or more importantly, the banker of the patron. Unfortunately, we have shown no respect, no affection, and no value for all we have on our planet. We have learned to exploit Mother Earth with no respect, no compassion, and no thought for the future and the possible consequences, because we have thought we own the planet, thinking we could do whatever we want, but everything in the universe has to remain in balance. From the positions of our brothers and sisters orbiting the planet, you can clearly see that we, humankind, have done to the Earth. They understand that we have been taught this, which has led to the clique's great goal of destroying the planet. Reparation. This involutionary process stopped in 2014. Now Gaia is refocusing and has begun to transform all negative energies into love and light. And with all this vigor, she is repairing every part of her earthly body for ascension. The spirit of Gaia is the spirit of the earth, and is already in the 5th dimension. But the physical part of the planet is still missing, because the transformation is not simple or easy, but complex and difficult because many different countries have to be brought into agreement. All the evil that has been done needs to be corrected, transformed and transmuted into positive energy, so that every particle of the planet can ascend to the 5th dimension, where the Earth gets its renewed positive capacity for environment, biological nourishment, and happiness. People are beginning to realize their true purpose in life, which has been forgotten by most. Individual capacity will be the only limit. People are learning to think independently, to do things in innovative ways. Most, if not all, existing parameters will become obsolete. The meaning and recognition of the value of money would be totally different from today. Everyone will have enough money to live on. There will be no need to take advantage of others or steal to buy anything. Personal wealth will be the only limit. Everyone will be free and will be able to pursue any hobby and work wherever they want. Wealth. The GSARA program is designed to eliminate poverty and all the resulting evils of the 3D Earth during the transition phase. The changes will not be made for the sake of poverty, but as part of the plan to provide comfort and protection. This will raise people's consciousness to enjoy joy and happiness. The 5D is the beginning of our new positive world. Planet Earth is one of the most abundant celestial bodies in the universe. There is more than enough money in gold and silver on Earth for everyone to be a millionaire, without debt of any kind. The conclusion is that Usura is more than a financial event. It signifies a new era that will be dawn soon. Once it begins, it will be the definitive end of the dark side and its puppets, and the beginning of our new positive 5D world. This massive change brings great transformations in the destiny of humankind. It brings visible and undeniable feelings of joy and happiness. People feel better when their radiant faces spread light, while the sleeping sheep will not know why or will think they are crazy. Transition. When asked when this will happen, the answer is when the masses revolt. Humankind must take back its power. That is very possible now because the dark control has been removed. The planetary transition is happening right now. Our planetary home is adjusting to its new frequency as everything is accelerating for Earth's transition from 3D to 5D through the bridge of the fourth sub-dimension. Many still do not understand the dimension of a planetary transition, and this makes it even more difficult to understand the consequences of this ascension process. In fact, we are in the last stages of this transition, and therefore many things are happening simultaneously. All of them are necessary events for energetic adaptation, both for the physical body and humankind, and for the planet Earth called Gaia. The long-term wounds and damage we have inflicted on Gaia's body have resulted in pockets of negative energy that must now be purified. All natural phenomena are but the result of this purification. The winds, the tides, the rains, and so many other events should be seen as the natural cleansing of Gaia's body. When a thorough cleansing is needed, the worst phenomena that occur are earthquakes, tidal waves, volcanic eruptions, tornadoes, or extreme rains that cause floods, or severe droughts that cause uncontrollable fires. Message to humankind. Unfortunately, humankind has descended much further than originally thought, as evidenced by the many negative reactions to a very positive message about our liberation. This is exactly what Mark Twain concluded: in a negative world, it is easier to deceive people than to convince them that they have been deceived. Most people have become accustomed to living in the three-dimensional world of deception, but negativism is coming to an end, although only 1/3 of the population would be able to ascend to the 5D world, having learnt all the lessons. However, any incarnated soul can choose the path to continue into the third or fifth dimensional world by passing over the fourth dimension bridge. Those who have ascended have chosen the new, positively evolving 5D world. Beyond this five-dimensional world is a vast space of timeless infinity. It is the middle ground between light and darkness, science and superstition, fear below and knowledge above. It is to say, the dimension of imagination, or the twilight zone. Detachment. Practice detachment by Logan B. Moving into the fifth dimension will be much easier for you if you are not terribly worried about what you are leaving behind. I am mainly referring to material things to which you may have developed an unhealthy attachment. It is well known that people who long for the things of this world, that that they cannot have find that once they acquire them, they realize that they were not as satisfying as they imagined. Once you have acquired all that you thought you had desired, you are still not happy, and you will also realize that there must be something more. The darkness is in process of threatening the wealthy of this world, who, if they choose to side with the light in this struggle, would completely collapse the economy and lose everything. That's why you see the so-called experts driving this message home forcefully with their endless predictions of stock market crashes, bank closures and shipping closures. I do not believe that the light is going to allow this to happen. These people could be stripped of their gold, and they would not have access to unlimited funds that they intended to use for evil. But God does not intend to leave anyone destitute, and in fact, they can still have whatever they want as long as they do not intend to do harm. If they cannot accept this, I guess they will have to leave. What that means depends on many different interpretations. Reset news. According to Charlie Ward, spokesman for the Global Financial Reset, we will see countries around the world transition to new free and independent republics over the next 6 months. China and Russia are preparing a new gold-backed currency. Bank transfers could be immediate in the European Union. The idea is to ensure that all payments are affordable, secure, and made in less than 10 seconds. Within the next 3 weeks, the world is expected to have a momentous experience that would put 86 countries under a state of emergency. The need for law and order is because they need everyone off the streets for a final arrest of the dark side players. There is no desire to disrupt law and order. Forces around the world are positioning themselves for a takeover in all major countries. Military law in the US would last 120 days until fair elections could be held through a quantum electoral system impossible to manipulate. In Mexico, 17 local congresses have endorsed the deployment of the army in the streets. The state of emergency in other countries would last for different periods depending on the need of the citizens of each country. Instructions would be announced through the Starlink emergency broadcast system, as all major media satellites would be shut down to all telephones and radio and television stations around the world. Initially, we would receive 7 EBS messages. One of them would be that we would need to be at home for 10 days. Major cities around the world would be shut down under this law, and everyone would be ordered to stay off the streets for at least 10 days. The forces will help ensure that the necessary services are covered and will distribute food for those who do not have enough for their needs. During those 10 days, 450,000 dark side players around the world would be detained under indictment and trial at key locations. It is advised to have at least 10 days of food, fuel, cash, water, and essential pieces on hand, depending on the area, but not to overdo it. Chronicles of the collapse. The euro falls below parity with the dollar. Germany grows unexpectedly, while France and Spain slow down. The German economy shows surprising strength ahead of the expected recession. Italian inflation rises 3.5% this month, the highest since 1984. International discord undermines global growth and worsens inflation. Globalists are causing poverty under the guise of environmentalism. Central bankers fear crashing the economy if they raise rates too fast. Another huge Fed rate hike is expected next week, and life gets tough for Jerome Powell. The Fed is heading for a lot of losses amid its fight against inflation. Harsh criticism of Jeff Bezos for backing a vulture company that buys foreclosed single-family homes. The lithium market is hotter than ever. The cryptocurrency Dogecoin is up more than 8% in 24 hours. Spain. Spanish hauliers announce a new indefinite strike. They demand full compliance with the transport law based on the principle of not working at loss. Spain approves a law to recognize the grandchildren of Franquist exiles as Spaniards. Electricity will close October in Spain at its lowest price in more than a year. Americas. Colombia will declare a natural disaster due to the rainy season. Petro seeks to reactivate more than 100 projects to search for gas and oil. Petro calls on Maduro to return Venezuela to the Inter-American human rights system. Argentina places debt in the local market for more than $950 million. Argentina reaches an agreement with the Paris Club to refinance $2.4 billion in debt. The Colombian peso is the second most devalued currency after Argentina. The IMF forecasts a contraction of the Chilean economy of 1.3% in 2023. Chile is calling in Australia for the creation of a protected area in Antarctica. Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Cuba, countries with the least press freedom according to the Inter-American Press Association. Asia. IMF cuts economic forecasts for Asia due to China's slowdown. China faces tough decisions in defense of its currency as the yuan weakens. Chinese stocks look cheap, but begging hunters risk losing out. China's biggest bank overcame property problems but cut margins. US chip blockade blocks China's artificial intelligence development. Russia suspends grain export deal from Ukrainian ports after claiming an attack in Sevastopol. Explosion hits Russian ships in Sevastopol. Russia claims it was a Ukrainian drone attack while Kiev says they were able to hit their targets. The United Nations is reneging on part of the Ukrainian wheat deal by distancing itself from the Russian fertilizer export ban. Russia accuses British naval officers of involvement in sabotage of Nord Stream. Moscow will denounce London's involvement in the attacks in the Black and Baltic Seas at the United Nations. The United Nations Security Council is to investigate biological weapons laboratories in Ukraine. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.